Robins, and welcome back to Beloved Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. Y'all, welcome back to our Christmas marathon, and we are getting down to the very, very, very end here. I thought about earlier, like having a few, I think it was like 7, but because I had so many different interruptions and different things happen today, I think we're going to end up with 5 at the most, but at the very least 4. So that's where we are going to be. I'm not sure if I'm going to make my last video do a whole video where I reveal my top holiday film for 2025, or will I just attach it to the very last movie review for our to wrap up our Christmas marathon. I'm still not sure at the moment of recording this video. I guess it all depends on when exactly I get back, because after I get off of this particular review, I have to make a run for it, and then when I come back, I'll see what time it is and see, what we're gonna do or what we are gonna be. But I did think about in this very moment that I probably want to put up a poll and put a few films in there and see if you all can guess right, or how many people can guess right, or how many people guess it all, really. I know I gotta leave room for that. Y'all hungry, well, y'all feel your bellies filled and all kind of stuff. Y'all probably ain't thinking about no community posts and polls and all that kind of stuff. So I may just do it just for the sake of doing it, just to see, I don't want to make assumptions. I at least want to see, because I remember my first year on YouTube with this channel, I did like I don't know what I call it, but I did something for Christmas where I had a bunch of videos. It probably was a Christmas marathon, more detailed than this, where I had a lot of reviews coming out like left and right, and that was my very first year here on the channel like that. So it wasn't, you can imagine, it wasn't like probably no engagement, but it was so super fun to me because it was my first year with the channel. God gave me this beautiful idea, and so I was in that space, when God gives you something for the very first time, and you're not thinking about how people are going to respond to that and whatever. You're not thinking nothing about that. You're just excited about this idea. You see it going very, very far, and you're just in a special place, right? And that's how I was my first year in the first whole Christmas marathon thing. For my first year, it didn't matter that it was barely any participation. It probably was definitely less than 10, probably less than 5 subscribers at that time. So I didn't really expect much, but it was just me having a good time, me and the Lord, and I was just so excited to be on there and talking about it and putting out that good stuff. And I still have that playlist on the channel, so you can always go back to that and see how far we have come together and go back to that year. But yeah, here we are. And last year I decided not to do anything at all. Because for Thanksgiving, I ended up doing last year. For Thanksgiving, I went live just to pop in if anybody felt like, oh, I would love to have someone to talk to right now, or a friend, all that kind of thing. I just wanted to just be there, and that's what I did last year for Thanksgiving. So I thought for Christmas, I'm not gonna really do anything last year, and then this year I didn't do nothing for Thanksgiving, because I did put up a poll asking if you all wanted to do a live, and no one was willing or wanted to do it, or couldn't do it, or couldn't make it, or whatever. So that's how that went. So I decided, okay, that's cool, just keep y'all in my prayers, and we move on. And then this year, for the whole Christmas thing, decided to do a Christmas marathon, Christmas countdown, countdown to Christmas. We did that, but I missed a few days, so I said, let me just do a Christmas marathon, put in a few reviews and go in a little bit detail about different things that remind me of the Word of God. We're watching these films, and so I just hope it brought you some joy. You just try to put out some good in the world, because what it seems like it mostly is, but we're not going to get into that. So I try to put out some good, some encouragement, something just to give people hope and comfort. And that's what I hope these videos mostly do for you all. Just remind you how much you are loved by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and to have that relationship with Him. If you don't have a relationship with Him, it's not too late. You're alive and well and breathing. You can still make that choice today. And I just try to put out something good out there and, you know, keep it positive. And not knowing most people's situations, whether you're subscribed to the channel or not, if you came across this channel, it wasn't by accident, just to put something out there that make you smile and laugh and remind you how special you are, and you are the apple of God's eye. So that's really all it is for me. Well, about for me. Of course, you like to see what people call success, I guess. I mean, that goes without saying, but that's not my focus. That's not what I focus on. I know that's not why God put me here in that sense, but sometimes you may never know the impact or the joy you may bring. You may never see that, but to know that it's happening out there somewhere out there, it's a beautiful thing. And so that's what I hope overall that you're getting from these videos. And thank you all for watching. For those of you who watch all the way through and comment and like the video and all of those wonderful things, it does not go without notice. I appreciate it to the bottom of my heart. I so appreciate it, because I know it's kind of crazy out here, right? And so the good things tend to be overlooked a lot of times and kind of be swept under the rug, or whatever you want to call it. So it's wonderful to have you all hanging out with me today. So yeah, just wanted to say all that. I wanted to say all of that. But we're going to go ahead and get started with our special feature today, which is titled A Christmas Prayer. You guys should find this film streaming right now on Great American Pure Flix. But first, let me tell y'all what this film is about. An illustrator discovers a girl's Christmas list of prayers for others, including her widowed father, as she secretly fulfills these wishes. She finds renewed creativity and creates an angel character. Now, friends, this film was so cute. It really was adorable. I love films that kind of center around, well, I ain't gonna say kind of, but center around prayer. I feel like prayer a lot of times kind of, in a sense, gets swept under the rug. Like, we don't give it the amount of focus and attention that I feel like it should get. And one of the reasons I believe that we don't is because of the response to everyone's prayers, or your prayers personally. You may feel like, okay, did God hear me? Did something happen? You know, just because we may not see something right away. And a lot of times that kind of discourage people from making prayer focus, from focusing on it as much as I feel like we should, because that is our communication with the Lord. That is how we grow. And I mean, yes, we got the word, but of course we want to talk with him. Like any relationship, how is any relationship going to get stronger, or you're going to be able to build, if you're not communicating, if you're not listening? Because some of us are better communicators. We communicate so much that we neglect to listen sometimes. And that seems to be a lot of people's issues, even though they may not recognize it. Sometimes it's that way. And sometimes people are a little bit more quieter. And I'm just speaking in terms of understanding here. Sometimes you can deal with a person who may not be very wordy, but they're great listeners and they process their thoughts a lot more than most people. So speaking with them, you're not going to get something right away, but it may take you a moment to sit there and commune, dwell, be still next to them while they gather their thoughts, and then they answer you. I mean, there's so many different types of people. And then here we are with this God who is going to take eternity to get to know him in his entirety. We may never feel like we truly got it all, at least not here on earth. But it's a wonderful thing about, like with any relationship, opening up and getting to know someone, getting to know their heart, peeling back those layers, seeing their beauty and all of that. It's just a very, very cool thing. And so here this film does focuses on prayer. We have this little sweet girl, Caroline. So wonderful. Her faith is so up there. She has that childlike faith. It's so attractive. It's so beautiful. And even though she had things that has happened to her at a very young age, I mean, you don't wish that for any child, to lose a parent or anything like that. But she has gone through this, and now it's just her and her dad and her grandfather, and her grandfather have this wonderful relationship. Dad here is still grieving in a sense. He's still not himself. He's kind of backed away from God and the church, as you can imagine, because of this thing that struck his family. But at the same time, he's not keeping his daughter away from God. If his daughter wants to be at church, wants to go to these events and to be a part of Bible studies and stuff at church, he is all for it. He does not hold her back from it. It's just him. You can tell he's a bit reluctant for reasons we can understand as humans. And it takes a while to get past certain things. It takes a while to learn to trust. Especially, I mean, we know how it is trusting human beings. So, and can you imagine a God that most people can't see with their physical eyes, how difficult that can be to open up and trust him when they feel like, okay, God, if you are truly God and you're in control of everything, then why would you allow this to happen to me if you love me so much? Why this? We have more questions than we do answers a lot of times. And it can be very frustrating to be on that type of journey, of being in that season where you could use that understanding, and yet for whatever reason you feel like it's not happening. And that's what we're dealing here with Wes. But at the same time, the picker-upper in this film is seeing his daughter Caroline and her childlike faith, how we know she's human. She does hurt. She is a kid. I mean, come on, you don't expect to kill a kid, forgive me, a kid to deal with things better than the adult. But a lot of times kids have that resilience. It doesn't necessarily take much, even though they do go through certain things, like we may go through certain things, but they tend to bounce back a lot faster. And it's very something to that. Very, very interesting when I think about it though. But yeah. And so in the midst of this, we have sweet Natalie. And Natalie is like a child illustrator. She already works for this company that publishes books, children books. Amazing job. And here she has an opportunity to come up with her own story and pitch that to her boss. And so she would love that. That would be a dream of hers. But right now, she's kind of at a roadblock. She don't necessarily know what to write. She sat at her computer for many, many hours and nothing is coming to mind. But yet, only thing that she knows that she wants more than anything, she appreciates doing children's stories, illustrating and all of that. But she wants a story that focuses more on Christ instead of all the shenanigans of what many people call Christmas. And there I can understand. I'm like, yes, Natalie, fight for this, girl. Get in your prayer. And hopefully God gives you something. And lo and behold, she comes across Wes and his daughter, Caroline. And she happens upon Caroline's prayer list. And one of the things that interests Natalie is the fact that Caroline's prayer list has a bunch of prayers for other people, but there's nothing on this list for her. And that is very something. Like, wow, a little kid like this has all these prayers for everyone else, for her family, for people outside of her family, but there's nothing personally that she's asking God for herself. And that is so special, such a beautiful thing that we don't really hear about, we don't necessarily focus on, especially in 2025. So I thought, like, wow, and that really hit Natalie. And so it sparks this idea in Natalie, this wonderful story of an angel that she came up with that answers people's prayers. But it is the Lord that is sending this angel out to do this work. So it is so sweet, the story that she came up with, and her inspiration is Caroline's prayer list. But prior to actually presenting it to her boss, one of the things that Natalie was doing was answering Caroline's prayers. With whatever she saw on there that was in her power, she took it upon herself to bring it to pass, to allow God to do that through her. But the thing where the kind of iffy thing that comes into play with Natalie at this point, of course, she doesn't let anybody know about this. She doesn't tell it to Caroline or his dad or her dad or anything. But her boss is like, okay, I get the story that you have here, but it's something missing. And she happens to look at this list, Caroline's prayer list, and she's like, okay, so this is based off a true story. We're working with something here. If we can kind of tie this into your whole book and all of that, you know, she would be on board for publishing the book. And that puts Natalie in a very, very awkward position, because this was supposed to be something that God put on her heart to do for this little girl. And she didn't want to feel like she was using this child and her family for her own personal gain with publishing this book. That was never her intentions. She never even thought about it in that way. She just had an idea from this little girl Liz that she just wanted to comfort her, encourage her, and make this happen for her. And then here we got all this other stuff just popping up in here that it just exploded into something that she never set out for it to be done that way. And so yeah, I'm trying to stay away from spoilers, but this is such a beautiful story. And like I said, I love the idea that Natalie was so passionate about, is knowing that for some reason they have turned Christmas into this whole something that it really isn't. Buying presents, buying everything, and traveling everywhere, and just doing all these things. And then it's like, where does Christ come into all of this at? Are we actually passing down the real reason for this? What inspired this thing? Or is it just spun so out of control that all people think about is, okay, we're making it about us, we're making it about gifts, we're making it about having days off and all of this kind of stuff, and it's like, where is Christ in all of this? When you ask someone, what is it about today? What is it about Christmas? Try it. Ask someone that question. Why is this day so important? What would the answer be? What would your answer be? I mean, truly, be honest and real with yourself. What is it about today that makes it any special or any different than any other day? So that is a question for you to think about, for you to ponder as the viewer here. But once again, this film is titled A Christmas Prayer, and you can find it streaming on Great American Pure Flix. But before I leave y'all for today, y'all know we have to get into this word, right? And so we are coming out of, let's see, Psalms. Okay, Psalms 103. Is it 103? Okay, yes, this is 103. Psalms 103:20, and it reads, "Bless the Lord, you his angels, who excel in strength, who do his word, heeding the voice of his word." So that's all I have for y'all for this video. Like I said, we are winding down our Christmas marathon here because I just have so many different things, that I gotta get to. So you may be getting another review later on this evening. I mean, you should be seeing this around 6. I think I'm gonna schedule it for, so I may do one for 8. And after that point, we're gonna wrap it up with my favorite holiday film for 2025, and then we're gonna call it an evening. Once again, this is gonna be in a playlist, so you can always go back and watch it when you have time and all of that. But yeah, that is all I have for y'all for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching, and until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.